People use electricity every single day, and often they take it for granted and they think it's just gonna always be there. And I did a video the other day about electricity. What are you gonna do if you don't have electric, and different options? And I showed you how we live here because we live off grid. Well, I want you guys to think about, okay, if you don't have electricity, or maybe they're rationing it, or possibly they'll just have limits on some of your electric consumption. What about air conditioning? Have you guys thought about that?
Oppressive heat now stretching coast to coast, with advisories in effect for 146 million Americans.
Heat can be deadly to anybody, old, young.
Extreme heat is here, especially for folks who work outside.
Probably the number one question we get asked, how do you live without air conditioning? Because we live in the hot and humid Midwest. It's very, very humid here. Today, we are going to address that, what we do here to help with the heat, to beat the heat without having air conditioning. So I'm gonna talk to you about what you guys can do and what you might want to start implementing, or some things that you might want to get in your stores just in case. Now, before we get into the nitty-gritty, I just kind of wanted to go over with you guys. I know a lot of people are like, well, we're not going to have a blackout. That's not going to happen. Well, that's not true, because I was kind of looking through and finding there has been many incidences of blackouts. So even here, for example, 1965, there was a Northeast blackout, 30 million people with no power. So they were stranded in the subways and trains, buildings. So, you know, that's one right there. 1977, there was a New York City one by lightning. So lots of looting, lots of crime, lots of things happened. 1982, the West Coast had a blackout from high winds. Millions of people were affected there. 1996, the Western North America blackout. 1998, North Central US lightning storm got that one. That was for like a whole day. People didn't have any electricity. 2003, the Northeast blackout. That affected 45 million people in 8 states. And that was from hacking from a software bug. That caused that. So that could be something that could happen too. 2011, Southwest blackout. It's the largest in California's history. So they had the sewage pumping stations failed, groceries ruined. I mean, lots of stuff happened there. 2012, the Jericho blackout. So that was from a widespread, long-lasting storm, which had hurricane force winds. So that affected millions. 2012, here comes Hurricane Sandy. Impacted 24 states. So that's just to name a few. So, you know, look at this. It's always good to be prepared. I have so many people that say, oh, I'll be all right, I'll be all right. But you're a smart person. Just maybe be prepared just in case. You want to protect yourself and your family and your loved ones. It's so, so important. So what I wanted to do today is, you know, the media is telling you we're going to have blackouts. So just get a few things to be prepared, know in your mind, maybe do some practice runs, some of the things I'm going to show you today, and you guys will be ready. Let's get going. I'm going to start off with a little story time, and then we'll go into the actual stuff. So when we first moved off grid, we really didn't know what we were doing, and we're thinking, oh, no big deal, we'll be fine without any air conditioning. The first summer we were here, we had a terrible drought where it was like 100 degrees for a whole month. And it maybe got in the middle 80s at night. I mean, it was really terrible. Coming from having air conditioning and being in that kind of climate all the time, a very controlled climate, and then coming out here where we're having to garden and you don't have any relief from it. And I would pray for the sun to go down so that I could get up and do things, because it was so hot you couldn't do anything. So we very quickly were trying to figure out, you know, what can we do to help ourselves? And the very first thing that is so important for all of you guys out there, and this is probably one of the number one things you guys should all have just in your arsenal of stuff at your home, are fans. All right? You need a way that you can have a off-grid type fan, because you know when it's hot and you're sitting there in that stuffy air, it's so oppressive and it's so horrible. When it's 100 degrees, and you have the air stirred and the wind is blowing on you, it makes it so much easier. You can make it if you have a fan on you. So we started with these battery operated fans. They come in different sizes. They're wonderful. They have the different settings. Always keep them on the lower setting because the batteries will last longer. There are some now that are rechargeable, and there's some of them like this one here. It has the phone charger. You plug it in. They work very well. A lot of the little solar chargers. So these fans work very well because they don't really take much energy at all. If you have a family, I would recommend getting one for each child. Like when our grandkids spend the night here and it's hot, they have their own little fans that they can sleep with. And I will say, if you guys are going to get batteries, I have found for us, the Duracell batteries are better than the Energizer batteries, and they last longer and I think do the best. I know they cost a little bit more, but they will last much longer than all the other batteries. And then, look at this guy. This is our new favorite that we love. It's on a lithium battery. It's a Milwaukee fan. This thing is amazing. The battery will last a very long time. We just put it on low, and this has been wonderful. This totally stirs up the air. It has so much more power. So this is our favorite choice right now for fans, but we do have both. Now, when we first finished building the cabin, upstairs we just had that old foam insulation in our loft. And when you would go upstairs, it would be so hot. You would just go up the few steps and you'd be dripping wet. You could not sleep there at all. So we would sleep out here, you know, outside in a tent. We'd sleep downstairs. We had a futon. It was just terrible. Doug had just put in the old-fashioned foamy insulation up there. Until a few years ago, when we finished the upstairs, he put this radiant thermal type insulation in there, this radiant foam. It totally changed everything because it will pull the heat away. So once it absorbs, it pulls it away. Now we can sleep up there. There is not much difference between my downstairs temperatures and my upstairs temperatures at all. So if you guys are looking into building a homestead or a home, check into the radiant thermal type insulation that you can put up in your upstairs levels. It's amazing. You want to start and do most of your activities early in the morning before the high sun comes up there, or later on in the day. So generally early in the morning we get up and do a lot of our work. Then during the heat of the day, you'll do some stuff, you know, if you want to do computer work or do some reading or knitting or do, you know, catch up on some things where you don't have to exert much energy at all, and you can have your fan blowing on you if you need so. And then as the sun goes down, that's generally when I do most of my gardening. Actually, for me, I wear a headlamp and I'll go in at night. I flip it up so that the bugs don't get in my face. So that's generally how we do it in the really, really, really hot days. At the end of the day, it's really important, and this is huge, it'll help you sleep very, very well, is I always take a cold shower. And here's our outside shower. So what I wanted to talk to you, besides just taking the cold shower, a lot of you are like, no, I could never do a cold shower. When you're really hot, a cold shower does feel amazing. But over the 13 years we were here and I started taking these cold showers, I started noticing, Doug and I both, that our health was getting tremendously very good, especially us never getting sick. You know, I was learning more about this man. His name was Wim Hof, W-I-M, first name, last name Hoff, H-O-F-F. And they call him the Iceman because he's a big advocate of cold showers and what they can do for your immune system. And there's lots of studies on it to show that when you take a cold shower, it helps your immune system. It helps you against getting any kind of illnesses because it's cold and you gotta, you know, brace yourself. It's very good for your nervous system. So you're able to tolerate things better. So like in life, you know you're gonna take a cold shower, you're gonna be stronger that way. It's good for your hair, it's good for your skin, it's good for your circulation. I mean, it's just amazing. It did so many wonderful things for my health. It was incredible. So we started taking these cold showers. For some of you guys, you might want to just start taking cold showers at your house because it could help. You know, if you want to get used to it, take a warm shower for a little bit and maybe finish the last 15 seconds, 30 seconds, a minute. Take a cold shower and see what it does for you. It's going to help the blood flow and it will help you sleep, but it'll also help wake you up. So it's kind of twofold. If you have access to a pond, a creek, a stream, something like that where you can just go and cool off, because just getting your body in some, you know, cool water will make a tremendous difference to totally cool your body temperature down. So we have a pond here. Ooh, it's So we like to spend a lot of time in here. We like to swim, get our little noodles and swim around, cool off, and just to get in there, you know, if you're getting really hot in the middle of the day, just to come in here, splash around a little bit and come back makes a big difference. Same thing for your animals. You want to get in? What's that? Get it. What's that? And something else for you guys, if it is the middle and the heat of the day and you just can't take it anymore, I know a lot of people, the Amish around here, and even Doug and I, we've done it too. If it's really hot, we'll just get in the car and go shopping. You can go to the store, walk around in the air conditioning real quick, and then come back home. So that's another option you guys can do. But if there's rolling blackouts and you don't have air conditioning, then maybe find a nice shady tree that you can sit under and relax and cool off and read a nice book. So now I want to talk to you about hydration and drinking water. Probably the most of the population, probably in the world, are chronically dehydrated. And a lot of people can get rid of a lot of health issues that they're suffering from just by increasing their water. However, just drinking water, and a lot of people will say, I don't want to drink water because I have to pee all day. Well, the problem with a lot of people, when you're drinking water, it just goes right through you. And so what you want to do is like how you drink your water, what you're going to put in your water is going to help your cells to absorb it better. We're sweating all day. I mean, it's like a 24/7 detoxification here because we're sweating so much. So it's really important that we replenish those electrolytes back in our body. And I'm not going to put that toxic, poisonous Gatorade inside of us. I think it's very important you have good purified water. You should not be drinking tap water because you have fluoride and chlorine and remnants of other people's medicine and just all these other toxic compounds in there. So make sure you're getting a good purified water, filtered water. When you're drinking your water, you want to use all of what you're getting because water is very healing. You know, every part of your body needs water, and without it, you're not able to function. I mean, believe it or not, you know, if you don't have the proper amount of water, you may feel like lightheaded or dizzy. You won't have energy. You'll feel fatigued. You might get, you know, headaches once in a while. You might not go to the bathroom. It may be because you're constipated, because your colon, it's like a pump and it needs water to push it through. And then in the heat, sweating and you're losing more and more fluids, you know, heat stroke or heat exhaustion can become of it, and then it just gets worse and worse. I always say drink a nice glass of water first thing in the morning before you do anything, and that will start your day because you've been sleeping, you've been fasting through the night, you need to kind of jumpstart yourself, drink your water first. You guys that are drinking coffee all the time first thing in the morning, that is a diuretic, and that will dehydrate you more. And then you're gonna constantly get more chronically dehydrated if you keep drinking that stuff. So here's an option. You guys that have been watching the channel forever know that my salt of choice is Redmond real salt. I love this stuff. It has a wonderful flavor. It has over 60 trace minerals that the human body needs. So what I like to do with the salt, I get it in bulk. I have it in little sizes, big sizes. I get it all over the place. All I do is I put a nice pinch of salt in my water. I will not drink water without my Redmond real salt. It's also, the salt itself, it's sort of like an antihistamine. It helps with the phlegm and mucus. So if you're predisposed to having a lot of phlegm and mucus, just by adding something like this can make a huge, huge difference. So I'll do that, drink my water. So here's another option. In the heat of summer, I did my salt. I have a little apple cider vinegar, if you guys are the ones that can tolerate it. I put a little shot of that in there. You're getting a little raw fermented type food in there. The acidic acid, and that's another way that could quench your thirst. Check out that video that we did, the Haymaker's Punch. That works out really well too. Or, this is my new thing that starting last year we started taking this stuff, is this Relight. This Relight is also made by Redmond, and the cool thing about it, it will hydrate you at the cellular level. Because like I was saying earlier, a lot of you will drink the water, it just goes right through you. And what you want to do is you want to bathe all of your cells so they can absorb it. Because you're not going to be getting all the minerals and vitamins that your body needs if it just goes right through you. So you want your cells to absorb it so that you're able to get it. They use the real salt, and then they'll also put some potassium in it, as well as magnesium. And the magnesium, they use two forms, the glycinate and the malate. And those are very good sources because your body is able to absorb it. And inside of it, it's more bioavailable. I like the mixed berry, as you guys can tell. It comes in a lot of different flavors. Comes with a nice little scooper. So then all you do is you put one full scoop of it in your water like that, and then you're gonna mix it up. And then you drink it. And I have to tell you, I'm really into taking care of yourself, not doing any artificial sweeteners, flavors, or anything. I just drink water and apple cider vinegar. I don't like the packets that you buy in the store. I won't buy any of that stuff. Nothing has ever been in our house. And I was really hesitant to try this because I just figured it was another one of those kind of products. When I tasted it, I was like, oh my gosh, it doesn't have that bad aftertaste. It's very natural tasting, and I really, really like it. I have a friend of mine who I gave her some, and she started using it, and she's like, you know what, I don't know, it sounds kind of weird, but I have more energy. I feel, believe it or not, after I started taking it for a while, I really felt that my body was hydrated. I felt better, and I just felt good. And I've talked to many people who have said the same thing. So, Relight. And you guys can go to Off Grid with Doug and Stacy, go to our shop tab, and you can find all the products and get a discount. And just a little note, when it comes to drinking water, general rule of thumb is they say to drink half of your body weight in ounces of water a day. So if you weighed 100 pounds, you want to do 50 ounces of water. So you kind of figure it that way. And then most people drink it all at once. You don't want to drink it all at once. I say drink a nice glass first thing in the morning and just start drinking throughout the day. Don't wait until 8 o'clock at night to drink all your water. All right? Cheers. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is the clothes that you're wearing. So I know in the heat, you'll be out with people, and a lot of people in the summer, they'll be wearing jean shorts, or they'll be wearing, long pair of jeans. Jeans are like the worst thing in the whole wide world to wear when it's hot. When it's so hot and humid and you don't have access to air conditioning, you need to have like I always wear skirts when it's really, really hot out because it's so cooling, you get an airflow. Some of you guys aren't gonna be wearing skirts, so you need to look at the material. So when we moved out here, I went to the resale shops and I really looked for a lot of linen and nice cottons because those are the ones that are gonna breathe the most. Not a lot of nice cotton t-shirts, because a lot of times when you get that polyester and a lot of these blends now, your body cannot breathe, it cannot sweat, and it kind of keeps the heat trapped. So that's really important. Look at the quality of the material and fabric that you're putting on your body. So you want it to be able to breathe, a nice light cotton. Like here, this is a linen shirt. It's very thin, so in the heat of summer, like if I had this shirt that I'm wearing right now is a thicker denim shirt. It's not that hot today, but I would not be wearing this in the heat of summer because I would just be boiling to death. But I want one of those thin cotton shirts, like the Pima cotton. You go to Goodwill or wherever, you could go find them. They're nice and thin, they're cool, you can breathe. And of course the light colors make a big difference, don't wear black. And then also, something like this, if you're gonna wear pants, you can get something baggier. Wear your pajamas. Go to Goodwill, go to resale shops, and look at good cotton and then good linen. And then especially look at what's on your feet. When you wear, I have dirty feet right now, but when you are going barefooted or you're wearing a very loose sandal, that makes a difference because you sweat a ton from your feet. I think I was reading, what was it, like a half of a pint or something? You lose a lot of sweat. So go ahead and wear some, comfortable shoes that you're able to move around it. Or even, you can walk barefoot a little bit around in the grass and cool off, because if you let your feet go, it kind of helps to help cool you off too. So those are my few things that have really helped Doug and I. When we did this video a few years ago, we said, try to turn your air conditioning off and see how you guys do, just to kind of get used to it, because what would happen if you don't have air conditioning. So you got to kind of train yourself, because unfortunately, everyone's used to being in that controlled environment. So then when you get in the heat, you get heat exhaustion or you get overheated very quickly. So you got to basically, it's sort of like working your muscles, you got to kind of work yourself up. Because thousands of years ago, or even just like 100 years ago, there was no such thing as air conditioning, and people all lived fine without air conditioning, and now people can't do it. So sometimes it's sort of like a little exercise. You have to take little baby steps, you know, like maybe try a fan here, and then maybe try, you know, getting some clothes, maybe trying, you know, drinking your Relight with some water, just to see if these little things help you. And then that way you guys will prepare just in case, who knows, we get those rolling blackouts like they're talking about we're supposed to be getting this summer. So what I want you guys to do is leave a comment below if you're going to take some of these baby steps, or what you're going to try to implement in your stores to kind of help you just in case you don't have access to air conditioning. I'd love to hear from you, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.